Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are and when you are viewing this. Hi, I'm Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey, where I talk about how I lost 97.4 pounds after starting the ketogenic protocol, how you may be able to lose weight, improve your health, and regain control of your life, like I did. First of all, if someone can just let me know you can see and hear me, that is always a relief. Barring any message that you can't see and hear me, I'm going to continue on as if you can. Oh, let me do this. I need to make a little change here. My bad. My bad. There we are. Um, Today's topic, as the thumbnail reads, bored on keto or bored with keto? Well, I'll give you my thoughts on that and my experiences, which is all I can do after all. I will, if you're a first time here, then good morning, writes Happy Ferret. What's that handle? Happy Ferret. If you're a first time here or just listening, here's my practice is to talk for about 25 or 30 minutes, depending, maybe more, maybe less. I spend the first half talking on the topic du jour, have a little break, and then turn my attention to the comments and people who are here. And I also like to share how I learned and how I have practiced the ketogenic protocol for now about 10 and a half years. Keep your carbohydrate intake to 20 grams or fewer a day. And that's total carbs, not net carbs, because say it with me, net carbs just means more carbs. If it's not on page 4, link below, don't eat it, but you don't even need a food list. I'll talk about that later. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop eating when you've had enough. And be patient and persevere. So that's it. That's pretty much the extent of the protocol. It's not particularly complicated, but that doesn't mean it's easy. So let's get into this. I'm going to increase this again because I need to be able to see. I have heard from some folks, and maybe to a little bit experienced it myself, but not really. I'll have to say that I have not found the food that we eat around here following the protocol to be boring. It's quite diverse. So let's talk about the food. And then I want to give thoughts on something else. The food itself, if you have page 4 or something similar to it, please be careful. There are some bootleg copies of page 4 out there that have things like quinoa and honey roasted almonds on them. I mean, that's just not the page 4. The food list is this: fatty sources of protein, limited amounts of full fat dairy. If you can tolerate and if you want it, you don't have to eat dairy if you don't like it or doesn't sit well with you, and limited amounts of non-starchy vegetables. Limited amounts now. And again, it's not obligatory. You don't have to eat any vegetables if you don't like vegetables. That's it. There is no fruit. There's no nuts, for various reasons. We could talk about that maybe another time, or maybe today if you want to. But that's it. Fatty sources of protein. What does that mean? That means animal product and the fat that comes with that animal product. That means poultry with the skin. After decades of having boneless, skinless chicken breasts, we can now have chicken breast with the skin, or even better, chicken thighs or drumsticks with the skin. Steak with the fat. Pork chops with the fat. Eggs with the yolks. No egg white omelets unless you like them, but eat the eggs with the yolks. That's where the protein and the fat are. All sorts of animal product. Depending on where you live in the world, you might eat things that are not listed on page 4. That's okay. It's just a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. You can't fit everything in the world on it. So, organ meats, lamb, buffalo, ostrich, again, poultry. Um, I'm trying to think of all the different things you can eat. We like it all here. Seafood, fish and seafood. How could I forget that? Nice, delicious, rich fish and seafood, scallops, shrimp, oysters, clams. So it is quite diverse. We've never gotten bored because we kind of shake things up every now and again. But if you find, and I think for some people, the idea, heavenly me, hey, Casey, we missed you over here on YouTube. People say that I'm here every week, with a rare exception about 3 months ago. But I'm here every week. So I don't know. If you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell icon, and then under notifications, say you want all notifications. I don't go live more than once a week, so you won't be inundated. But I don't know whether maybe the algorithm wizards have not loved me recently. I don't know, but I've not been anywhere. I'm here. What was I saying? Oh, so being bored, I think, is maybe the mindset is not so much thinking about all the food you can eat, but we kind of get stuck on the foods that we should avoid. If you are like me and keeping one's carbohydrate intake quite low works. It works for my health, my blood sugar, my blood pressure. My A1C is 4.6 or something. My little tiny sticky LDLs are almost non-existent. They want them to be like 547 particles or fewer per measurement. Mine are like below 90. I don't have joint pain. I lost a boatload of weight. My mood is much more regulated than it was. Not that every day's a walk in the park, but it works for me. If something else works for you, do that thing. There are many paths that lead to the same destination. The destination hopefully being feeling well, being healthy, having energy, feeling good about yourself in general. For me, this works. So focusing on what we don't eat is not what my husband and I do. My husband has never had a weight issue. He started doing this about 6 months after I did, for one thing, for athletic performance. He's long distance cyclist, or he used to be. And he heard the same lectures I was hearing, because when I was first researching it. So he started doing it. So now he's been doing it for 10 years. We don't focus on what we don't eat. Every now and again we'll laugh and I'll say, ooh, let's go to Olive Garden and get the never-ending pasta bowl and the breadsticks. And we'll laugh and say, of course, we're not going to do that. But we don't focus on what we're not eating. We're really enjoying what we do eat. Yesterday, we kind of shook things up. Neither of us felt like cooking. And so we ordered delivery from Papa John's, where you can get a Papa Bowl, which is more food than we need. But so we'll be picking at it, and some unbreaded drumsticks, chicken wings. So that's kind of shaking it up for us. But mostly we don't focus on what we're not eating. So we got the Papa Bowl, didn't miss the pizza crust. Bunless burgers, we don't worry about the buns. But I think some people, when they say they're bored, it is more thank you for all the hearts, by the way. It is more about thinking, oh, no more pretzels. I wouldn't be bored if I could eat pretzels and not have any negative effects. I knew low carb worked for me since 1977. That was a long time ago. When I was in college, I put on like 12 or 13 pounds over the course of a year and a half. Got the Atkins Diet Revolution book, did the induction period, lost the weight throughout the book. I knew that it worked, but I spent many years telling me, even after I became overweight and morbidly obese, that started in my mid-20s. I would say, oh, well, I know it works, but I can't see going the rest of my life without eating tortilla chips. And I would actually say that out loud. So I was focusing on what I wouldn't be eating. When we started this, I marveled at what I could eat, the things I'd been shunning, avoiding through all the low fat days. Full fat sour cream and cream cheese and ranch dressing and blue cheese dressing and the fatty end of the ribeye and thick slices of bacon and pork belly with all the fat. I didn't have to worry about what I wasn't eating. But here's another thing. My thoughts on this again. We are all Nancy K. Hello, good morning. It's a beautiful sunny day in St. Louis here, the St. Louis area. A little overcast here. I think also we have to get away, and this takes retraining our thought process. We have to not think of food as entertainment. We use food as a surrogate for a lot of things. Oh, food is love. No, love is love. Food is fuel. Food is comfort. Well, it might be for the 8 seconds it's going down your gullet, but for me, food was torture. It was punishment. And yet I continue to eat. I need to we use food as a surrogate when we've had a bad day. And sometimes we look at food as entertainment. It's not. It shouldn't be anyway. So if we're not looking at it as entertainment, then we're less likely to actually get bored with food. Okay, if I'm bored in general, let's find something else to do. Around Go Keto with Casey, my private Patreon group, we try to employ the BLAST method. It's a ripoff of the 12-step program, the HALT method. But we changed it up a little bit. Don't make a decision to eat if you're bored, lonely, angry, stressed, or tired. Because ultimately, you should only make a decision to eat if you're hungry. If hunger is not the issue, food is not the solution. So let's take the onus off of food. We can't have food be everything to us. It should be fuel, and it is so liberating when it becomes just that. I've got things you can buy below, caps and mugs and zippies, hoodies, and Go Keto with Casey merch. And one of the best-selling designs it just reads, "Food is not the boss of me." And that is liberating. And my life is not boring. If I am twiddling my thumbs, then I need to get up and do something or find something that sparks my brain, my creativity, something that's good for neuroplasticity. It doesn't have to be food. Because I know if I start just eating out of because I wanna, I'm not gonna feel well. Forget about what the scale reads. I'm gonna feel weighted down, and I'm gonna feel like, "Why did I just do that?" I require much less fuel than I used to. Why? For one thing, I'm smaller than I was 10 years ago. And guess what? I'm older than I was 10 years ago. I'm at a different stage of life than I was 10 years ago. I require less fuel, thereby opening up my day for other things. And sometimes those other things are just like binge watching The Closer. My husband and I just watched the entire series again because I want to channel Brenda Lee Johnson. Anywho, but if we accept that food should not be entertainment, and food we use as a distraction, we use it to distract ourselves from the issues that maybe we need to deal with. We don't use food to cope. Some of us tell ourselves we do. We use food to not cope. We use food to not deal with whatever's, you should pardon the expression, eating at us. So let's take food off the table, again, another bad pun, and put it where it belongs, and deal with whatever we need to deal with, whether that is boredom or loneliness or anger or stress or you're tired. Food won't fix it. And then let's actually look at what we can eat. These are exciting things. And we can go to our favorite Mexican restaurant. We just don't eat the tortilla chips. We have actually brought in pork rinds ourselves and eat the salsa and have the fajitas without the tortillas, no rice and beans. I like to get the seafood thing. It's delicious. We don't go often because we can actually cook pretty well for ourselves now. We can go to, Papa John's. And now, not all Papa John's have the bowls. Five Guys is another one. We get burgers in a bowl if we feel like doing that. But think of all the food that there is. Just think about it. Fish, seafood, turkey, duck, chicken, ostrich, steak, chuck roast, ground beef, Italian sausages, breakfast link sausages, bacon. Now, ham you want to be careful with because a lot of ham is cured with a lot of sugar. So you want to be careful of that. And some vegetables, if you want them, and some blue cheese dressing and some full-fat dairy. Not boring, not to me. So let's not concentrate on what we're not eating. Let's not use food for entertainment. Let's enjoy the food that is delicious, that we can eat. And then let's get on with our day. That's just my thoughts on it. I want to thank I'm not winding up. You do not have to buy one thing, not one thing, to be 100% successful at this protocol. You don't have to test. You don't have to have on a continuous glucose monitor. You don't have to buy a kit or potions or powders or meal plans or page 4. But I will gladly sell you things. Go Keto with Casey merch, link below. This green book that I made 3 years ago maybe. And it's got all kinds of things in it. Habit trackers and mood trackers and quotes. One of them, I've got quotes from like the Dalai Lama and Confucius and Dr. Seuss and Oscar Wilde. But there's also one from me. I'm quoting myself. Keto is simple, which is not to say it's easy. But just because it isn't easy doesn't mean you can't do it. Link to that at my blog. Y'all probably know the routine. And I want to thank patrons. I have a private Patreon support group on patreon.com, link below. Very supportive people. And I do a bunch of patron-only content. You can go to the site and see what I do. And thank you. I want to thank patrons very much. I'm a very lucky person and humbled. So now I'm going to turn my attention to the comments. So I just jump in. Let's see. Okay, Linda Bridges, good morning from Texas. Jill's mommy, hello, good morning, Casey. Hi from Luke. Hey, Luke. You Youpers. Joanne Cardew, good morning from Michigan and St. Louis. And we have a message that has been retracted. The sound of one man laughing. I like that one too. Hello, Casey. I'm glad to be able to watch you live today. I have trouble sticking to keto, and I'm going to try to make an exercise plan. That's great. And can you identify what part is difficult for you in sticking to it? A lot of what our eating is just habitual. We're in the habit of eating certain things at certain times. And a lot of times we do it without even thinking. It's like when you drive home from work. You don't remember doing it, but you got there. You got home. I don't even remember driving. You like a milk course. You just know how to drive home from work. And eating can be like that too. And exercise, while exercise is not an effective fat loss experience, it is a very important thing for bone density, core strength, keeping or building lean mass. For a lot of people, Exercise is for mental health as much as anything. And as we get older, and if you're in your 20s, you don't have to wait until you're in your 50s to say, "Oh, I better get I wanna deal with my core." Start now. Doesn't have to be anything extravagant. Oh, by the way, I have the Total Gym. I'm back on the Total Gym, very much liking that. Colleen Sproul, top of the morning to everyone. Another beautiful day here in Michigan. And Kim Schaus writes, "Good morning, sunshine. Keto simple. Good morning, everyone. How is everyone? I'm watching while eating some bacon." Awesome. Happy Ferret, also eating bacon while watching. And maybe we should start the little movement. Jell's mommy, Casey, guess what? After two sad failed adoptions and foster care sadness, my daughter Julia is pregnant. Ooh, due to deliver in January. I knew you'd be excited for us. I want to be a healthy grandma. I tell you what, I've cried right along with you sometimes, Stacy. I'm so happy for you. That is so wonderful. Jackie Savoy, I bought Nature's Choice ribeye, and when I got home, the back of the package stated it. Didn't finish. The back of the package had a label, ingredients beef, but nutrition had 4 carb grams per 4-ounce serving. What? I don't. Maybe was this in any way flavored ribeye? I don't know about that. Now, there are carbs in everything humans eat. There's fat and protein in everything humans eat, other than table sugar, which has no fat, and lard, which has and no carbs. But in between it all, it's just that carbs mainly come from plant products, and fat and protein mainly come from animal product. I don't know. I'd have to check that out. Congrats for your daughter, Jell's mommy writes, Happy Ferret. That is so nice. Linda Bridges, have trouble with keto because of emotions. Okay, so let's get back to that. So, say you are emotional about something, and I'm going to guess these are not happy emotions. Whatever is causing the emotion. Have you, I won't ask you, I will tell you that whatever negative emotion I have felt, it never was enhanced by eating. Never. Way back in the day when I was eating all the time. I do remember the first time after I'd been doing this for a few months, it was in my previous career. And transaction I was involved with, one of the other parties just messed up. And I was here at the house, and I'm on the phone. Okay. Let's move on. I'll fix it. And I was irritated. And I got off the phone and I started doing some stuff and looking at papers. And I was in the kitchen. And I realized after about 5 or 10 minutes, whoa. Before starting keto, that exact same situation with that same conversation, by the time I got off the phone, I would have already been standing in front of the fridge. But the food would not have solved the problem, there was a screw up and it needed to be fixed. So for me, food never made the negative emotions go away. It simply made me have another negative emotion, guilt, and feeling physically bad. Tanya Moody writes, Good morning, Casey. You're such an inspiration. Well, thank you. Colleen Sproul, yay, Jell's mommy. Congratulations. Happy Ferret writes, trying to eat the, quote, keto versions of foods you used to eat more often than not makes the craving worse. For some, it helps transition to keto. Not me. I'm with you. We did some of that, more for my husband. My husband has never had a weight issue. So I do prepare ketofied versions of some things, but he's eating those much less. It's mostly, I make the little tiny almond cookies with coconut oil and some Splenda and vanilla extract and an egg. I made a video about it. You're welcome to, look at it. But I'm with you. Because often it's not even the food product itself. For instance, if there was such a thing as keto brownies. There's not. But say there was. Say you could find very, very low total carbs, not net, low carb version of a fudge brownie. For me, it wouldn't be that it's, oh, it's okay. I'll have a one very low carb fudge brownie. I would be like I used to be back with the Duncan Hines brownies. I'd want another because it's not even sometimes about the flavor. It's about that. So that's one reason that nuts are not on page 4. For one thing, they're carb and calorie dense, and they're very easy to mindlessly eat. Eat them, back before keto, we get the thing of mixed nuts from Costco. And I would sit doing my work, my computer. My previous career required a lot of computer work as well. And I would just put the nuts in the lid of the container, fill it up, and I would eat that. I wasn't even thinking about a serving, but that is the way I serve myself. And then I do that again. So there are foods that I don't want to have in the house. Not because they're, and yes, I can be strong enough. Food is not the boss of me, but I am human. And I don't want to fight with my brain about food anymore. It's just that simple. I spent decades crying when I would be alone about food. Not about the food I was depriving myself, about the fact that food seemed to rule me. And a metaphor I've used is that food used to be in the driver's seat with me. And then after keto, it kind of went over to the passenger seat. And then it moved to the back seat, then to the way back. And now it is in a trailer being hauled by my car. It is way back there. When I need it, I pull over, have some food, and then get on my way. That was a process. I just don't want to fight with I don't want to cry anymore about the impact of food on my body and the accompanying feeling of failure. I'm a really clever, talented, organized person. The fact that I struggled so much to try to get ahead of my obesity, in my mind, almost erased for me all the other good qualities I have. And that's one reason I say I got my life back. The sound of one man laughing. Wonderful. Having a child is the best thing in the world. And Jackie Savoy writes, not flavored. Ingredients? Said beef. Well, I don't know, honestly. That's interesting. What was the brand? I'm gonna have to check it out. We buy a full ribeye from Costco, and then my husband portions it. We do that like once every few months. And so it's just, there isn't a brand name. We just buy the big ribeye. I think I made a video about him portioning that as well. Because I like a thick steak. But now, we used to each eat big steaks, full steaks. There'd be 10, 12-ounce steaks. Now we split a steak. I don't even split it halfway. I get the little tiny fatty end. And sometimes he doesn't even finish what's left of that steak. So, but I'm curious about that. Or maybe it was a mistake. I don't know. Or maybe there's, like I said, there's carbs in everything. So, but that would be unusual for me to think about that. Okay, I am going to wind down now. Thank you very much. If you can subscribe to this channel and hit the notification icon and give me a thumbs up, it really does help. And someone thinks I've not been on YouTube for a while, I'm here every week. So maybe YouTube will shine on me more nicely. And check out patreon.com. Thank you to patrons. Check out my merch. Every little bit helps. Just trying to earn my keep, y'all. And in the meantime, keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer. Total, not net. If it's not on page 4, link below. Don't eat it. Don't eat if you're not hungry, no matter how you're feeling. Stop when you've had enough. Be patient and persevere. And I will see you next week. God willing, and the creek don't rise. Bye.